All right, let's get this over with because frankly, I don't care anymore. And you look at your comment section, they don't care anymore. But nevertheless, I can't let you call me a liar. And after this, me and you will have no more interactions until we both hit that dirt. Real quick, very nasty work. Very nasty work using Corey's voice messages like that, but I'll get to that at the end. So to debunk the things you said in your video, I'll be using a combination of screenshots and also word from my friend Strix, who was a part of our 4-man friend group, who was a part of Steph's financial team, and who was there for your interaction with that young lady. And before you go and try to invalidate what he's saying, keep in mind that you made reference to him in your video, and 2, I caught you doing reconnaissance on him. Here, I have footage of a bot asking if I still talk to Strix, and then when you discovered my video, that same bot commented at the same time you did. Also, I want to point out that you guys use bots to upvote your comments. How do I know that? Because your likes when I banished you off my channel were the same dislikes on my video, roughly within that 17-19 range. Yeah, dummy accounts is definitely a strategy of the dynamic duo, or I guess the Legion of Doom. But with that, let's get started.
Just like the title of the video, yes, I was a horrible friend, but I never really liked Moshi, and I should have been open and honest with him about that fact.
I'm not gonna lie, you off to a bad start, because admitting in your cold opener that you're capable of smiling in somebody's face and hating them behind their back kinda tracks, you know? So I don't know where you were going with that, but yeah, bad start, bud.
There were numerous times where Moshi would go out of his way to instigate problems between other mutual friends, take information that was spoken to in private and spread that amongst other people. Maybe not necessarily to be malicious, but to create discord amongst people.
And again, I keep hearing you use this angle where I was a problem starter and I keep instigating problems, but I want y'all to notice that he never makes one example of things that I've done to problem start. And even in it, he contradicts himself by saying, oh, I wasn't malicious, but I caused discourse. So I'm like, just say you hate me, man. It'd be a lot simpler than trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, beat around the bush. You hated me, and you were willing to hide that behind my back instead of, like, coming to me and explaining your problem with me.
Very confused at what you mean by this, because I don't recall this ever happening.
Okay, you say you don't know about stumbling into Discord drunk and trying to show me news. And I should have expected that because, hey, I don't record shit to use against my friends at a later date. That's that guy's bag. But, you know what I'm saying? We'll chalk this up to a believe me if you want, an alleged if you want. But my hope is as I debunk a lot of these other things, then you'll be more susceptible to taking my word for these things. Because things like that are things that I experienced in passing. I didn't think immediately, oh, record this to use against my friend at a later date. You know what I mean? But I'll let you have that.
The video that Moshi is referencing here is his response to the Panda Ninja allegations that came out initially. It was his reply to that, which has been either privated or deleted. But that included spewing vulgarities at Panda Ninja and overall not taking the situation seriously.
I deleted that TikTok because I watched Corey's video and he said he wanted no hate going towards Panda Ninja. And unlike you, I respect people's wishes. Also, when I made that video, it was more so a heat in the moment because I was empathetic to the fact that Corey was being put in a situation where people thought the worst of him and they weren't going to believe him whether he was guilty or innocent. And obviously, I've been in a similar situation, so yeah, I empathized. I want to make it 100% clear. I did this because I did not expect Corey to survive that situation. In all respect, nobody does. You've been online, nobody survives that situation, whether you're innocent or guilty. But you know what I'm saying? You know, shout out to the samurai. I want you to put a finger down if you didn't take this seriously at first either, because who announces something like that in a put a finger down challenge? I may not believe what she's saying personally, but that shouldn't stop her from getting what she wants to say out. So the Panda Ninja, I apologize for, I guess, sticking my nose where it shouldn't have been. But yeah, like I said, heat of the moment type of thing.
It seemed to me there was always someone he could fall back on. I recall one situation where Corey had a random woman come out to his house when his girlfriend came over unannounced and awkwardly found Corey and the woman in his bedroom. This is just a subtle glimpse into how Corey treats his relationship with women. In my view, Corey often disregarded the emotions and boundaries of people around him, especially women.
See right there, you said I, which means that's your thoughts. And I brought that up not to vouch for it because I don't know Corey like that. But I brought that up more so to show that this is the wrong messenger to be delivering this type of message. The hypocrisy was insane. A womanizer is a term used to describe a man who has a pattern of pursuing and engaging in sexual relationships with multiple women.
I was single. I was exploring connections.
You said it yourself. You were pursuing multiple women, bro. That's womanizing. And you were pursuing them at the same time. And before you say we didn't do anything sexual, I just want to point out the fact that you were not pursuing this woman to hold hands.
And getting to know other people while I was single, and the woman that Moshi mentions in the video happened to be one of them. Her and I had flirted back and forth way before my wife and I were ever a thing.
No, there was no Legion of Doom. She was not run off the platform, and she in fact has quite a large platform now, while my wife at the time did not. No, we didn't cyberbully a woman into physical sickness. Because she couldn't be in a relationship with me, she targeted my wife.
Quite frankly, I don't like how you guys are painting her out with these screenshots to be like some kind of obsessed weirdo and not someone that you spent time manipulating. But I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I'm going to pass it off to Strix because he was there when it happened.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Strix, and I am here to corroborate Mr. Moshi's allegations, some of them, as well as to address the 2 times MavAttack specifically addressed me, and these points are going directly to him. So, number one, to address the allegations, I can speak towards the young lady. The young lady, in particular, had a conversation with me at the time. It was a private conversation where she did mention that she had been hospitalized and that her current health concerns had been exacerbated due to the stress and harassment of the situation. They had pushed her to the point of needing to be in the hospital for upwards of a week.
I did receive a lot, an onslaught, harassment from the Corey comments for years and years and years. And if Moshi was as close to me as he claimed that he would have noticed how much this affected me mentally, how much time I had to step away, how much time I needed for myself and my mental health. Even other creators around us, other mutuals, noticed all of this happening.
Yeah, let's get one thing clear. I was a better friend than you probably deserved. And yes, you're right. I never understood back then why that stressed you out so much. But I understand now that if you're the narcissist that I think you are, why mentioning someone else, regardless of whether they're helping you or not, would set you off. And I want to double down. You're right. I don't understand the logic of, hey, this person gave me my entire audience, but why are they mentioning that person and complaining about it? I want to point out that Corey probably had other creative friends who were going through this, and none of them reacted like you did.
Harassment persisted for years, and then when I tried to come back to my YouTube channel and resume making videos, even though Corey and I were not associating anymore, I continued to receive comments about Corey. So a lot of people ask questions about why did you make a video in 2023 about why you and Corey Kenshin are no longer friends anymore, and that is the reason for that.
Any harassment you're receiving now is for the things that you're doing now, so that's on you. Because I think multiple people have pointed this out. YouTube has stuff for you to combat that now. And I think they've had that for a very long while. I want to point out something blatantly obvious. You were not the only content creator friend Corey had. And you were not the only one going through your definition of harassment. But you were the only one talking shit behind his back. And you were the only one making videos trying to ruin his reputation.
This video was uploaded 4 weeks ago, and only a few days after it was uploaded, my wife and I went to the comment section to address everything, to speak our minds about what he spoke his mind about. Come to find out, however much time later, that our comments were hidden from the channel, so our voices were silenced for trying to speak up and defend ourselves.
And you're only replying 3 weeks after that. And only because Brianna covered it, so you had to respond. And you're right, I did block you on my channel because you did come into my comment section doing stuff like this. This whole bully routine you guys got going on, this Legion of Doom stuff, yeah, I'm not going to put up with that. So yeah, I blocked you. And yes, you did leave a comment explaining your side, but also I understood your strategy. You were trying to take advantage of the fact that I have a smaller viewer base. You did that in my comment section, and you did it on your TikTok story because you don't have a lot of viewers on TikTok. But the people you didn't want that put in front of were the small subsection of Corey's fan base that you could rage bait. And you didn't want to disrupt that because you wanted to continue collecting those views. And I understood this, so I gave you a condition. Put this on main so everybody can see and everybody can decide how they feel about it with all the information present. And you didn't do that. Instead, you waited 3 weeks and only responded because Breon posted. So if you're upset that I didn't allow you to play your game, sorry, bud. And the profile picture and the name you're trying to blur out is your wife. And I'm just saying, claiming you guys don't form the Legion of Doom to harass people and then forming the Legion of Doom to harass people in my comment section, not the best look.
So I agreed to come on as an editor to help Steph get his videos out, and that was simply because I saw that a friend could use the assistance on his end, and I could also use the funds on my end, and that was strictly a business decision between the both of us. There were no personal thoughts in taking this editing job in regards to Moshi being the previous editor. I was not thinking about Moshi when taking this job.
Okay, you're saying it wasn't personal and it was just business, yet in the same video, you admit to hating me and talking shit behind my back in side chats. And last time I talked to him, we didn't have an argument, a falling out, nothing. Everything was Gucci. The last time I saw him, we were good.
That's true. The last time I spoke to Moshi, we didn't have an argument, we didn't have a fallout.
And in that same line of thought, you expect me to believe that the second I quit my job, you moving in wasn't in any way personal. I'm supposed to believe that the same jealousy that made you think that you were in any way responsible for Corey's success, because let me get this straight. Skits before gameplay, the same line of thought that made you think that level of jealousy didn't rear its ugly head towards me. All right, Mav, let's say that's the truth, right? It still doesn't negate the fact that without any problems between you and me, without any falling out, you try to separate me from my friends and isolate me. And that is personal, no matter how you try to frame it.
You came out, and in the conversation, we talked about our lives. We talked about where we are and where we are going. But beyond that, you gave me an ultimatum that I had to remove 4 people from my life, guaranteed, no questions asked. The first 2 were mutual blocks. They'd already blocked me, but you didn't want them having access. We had that conversation. I had no problem blocking them. I said as much to you. The last 2, Moshi being one of them, were included in this conversation, which is why that why and have you talking to Moshi situation came up. I know you can talk to Moshi. You can go to him and speak to him. You gave me a response that indicated that no, and no, I don't have any plans to. I don't have a need to. There isn't a reason for me to go and talk to him. And the reason you gave me for why was that he was a bad person. They were both bad people, these other 2 people. And then we continue our conversation where we talked about kind of our philosophies about people and life. That led to a few days later, me sending a message saying, hey, I am not blocking Moshi and this other person. I don't think they're bad people. In fact, I think they're good people.
So in regards to myself and Steph's head mod and manager at the time, Otia, going on a smear campaign against Moshi is completely false. And even though Otia and I do no longer speak to each other or see eye to eye on certain things, I can at least speak to Otia's character and say that Otia would never do anything like this.
Yeah, I hate to burst your bubble, bud, but yeah, you're not the best example of character, and you're definitely not the best judge of it. So I'll say this here first. I'm not a fan of recording your friends or taking screenshots of their conversations, but for this, I have no choice but to make an exception. So here I have a screenshot of an end of friendship conversation me and Steph were having. It's filled with a bunch of drama, a bunch of business stuff, a bunch of end of friendship stuff, but it also has proof that I not only brought this up to Steph, but Steph confirms that I brought this up and confirms that this is the second time that I brought this up about Otia running around trying to smear my name.
When if you look up Mr. Moshi's history, this isn't the first time that he's had a business falling out with a group of people.
Wow. Holy smoke bomb, Batman. I actually think it's funny because towards the end of that friendship too, I was isolated and badmouthed. So thanks for sharing with the class that you knew I went through that before, and yet you still decided to do what you did.
There was nothing that Steph and I could allegedly come together to smear you, to gain from you. And in fact, both of our channels were significantly larger in size than yours, so what was there to gain? There was nothing to benefit off of doing a smear campaign against your name because of a business fallout with a mutual friend.
I don't know what point you're trying to prove, because yes, you're right. I was a smaller channel, and yes, you're right. You had nothing to gain, but you still did it. You just proved what? That you was out here being evil for the love of the game? But the fact still remains that you did that.
Why would I think it was okay for them to bother Moshi? And Moshi, you never reached out or addressed these concerns with me. If you need to talk about this, feel free to reach out to me because I am open to communication.
Reach out for what? I hate when people do this when they get caught being a piece of shit. Like they try to pretend to be a sensible person. Let me make one thing clear. The hatred that you had behind my back all those years is mutual now. I don't want to converse with you. I don't even want to be doing this video right now. And like I said before, I don't want to hear from you again after this. To the day we die. It's fuck you.
In regards to Strix, and this is even something that I mentioned in the YouTube comment section that was hidden, is that during the time that we were friends or content buddies, myself, Strix, and Steph decided to make a separate group chat that excluded Moshi because we felt that we couldn't speak honestly or reveal personal information around Moshi due to behavior that he displayed in the past.
Again, he keeps mentioning this behavior of mine, but never gives examples. I'm like, bro, just say you hate me. And as for the group chat, I'll let Strix talk about it.
The group chat allegations, if you want to call them that. The group chats did exist, but I think the context of the group chats has to be somewhat explained. They initially existed because of a handful of slip-ups that were way earlier on in our friendship, over the course of, I think, a few years. And Mav felt like he could not speak freely. I did a poor job and was a bad friend, and then not communicating that I did not feel the same way. I felt like Moshi occasionally had made a mistake, but it was so few that I couldn't even name them all. But if Mav felt differently, he created this space. One of those group chats I can no longer see. I believe MavAttack made them. He has since seemingly deleted his Discord account, and so I no longer can see those chats. That's number one. The second one that I can find and still have access to was me, MavAttack, and These Nuts Steph planning a trip to TwitchCon in 2019. There isn't really any speak of why specifically this chat is the space that it is and name what it is, but in that group chat, I'm able to go back and see where, boom, I added, and we were able to talk about everything that was going on there and like getting an Airbnb and so on and so forth. That's what that message seemed to be about before it devolved into banter back and forth and sharing memes and making jokes with one another, as it happens in friend group conversations. I've already spoken to Moshi about this. When Mav brought it up, I didn't hide behind it. And should I have told him something sooner? Yes, you should. I should have addressed it. But I also realized that I didn't hold the same resentment that Mav did at the time. It was never that serious. It was never that serious between me and Moshi for one major reason. He and I had an argument before, a 2-hour heated argument on stream about something fairly frivolous. But what it taught me was that I can talk to Moshi. I can speak to Moshi. As long as you're willing to, at the time, come out, speak, say how you feel, everything usually works out. He's a very open and honest guy. This is regarding our final conversation. And this is why I said this is all directed towards Mav directly. What you allege in the video, I disagree with fundamentally because that is not how the conversation was presented to me nor communicated to me. If your intention was to check whether or not I was a good friend to Moshi or a good friend to you, what came across as an ultimatum that the only people that were allowed to be in your sphere were people that agreed to your demands. I think that your philosophy about viewing people as NPCs, even in your own, and you as a main character, that sentiment was negative, wasn't good. It wasn't okay. Being a little bit older now, I get what I think you were trying to communicate, but at the time, it came very much across as the only people that matter are the people that I deem that matter. And so, again, not holding that to you. Now that I've said all of that, I will just say the door was never closed. You can always hit me up. Things aren't the same. I don't think you want that. I know that I don't need that. But if you want to have one final conversation, we can always do that. I'm always down to just wish you the best. You know, it's always been love since that day. The last words we had to each other were about unhooking our PlayStations and wishing the best to each other. It hurt. It caused a lot of pain for a couple of years, but I've since moved past that. And I wish you, your wife, and especially your child, a ton of good sentiment. I hope that y'all live long and prosper.
If Strix was capable of being a bad friend to you, and then in turn choosing to continue to be your friend, instead of taking accountability or simply cutting you off and distancing himself from the relationship, then yes, I couldn't continue to be friends with Strix, knowing that he was capable of doing that towards somebody that he potentially didn't like in the first place.
So let me get this straight. Your logic is I can be a bad friend of Moshi, but if Strix is a bad friend of Moshi, then I can't trust him. Yo, I swear to God, yo, I'm tired of this shit. Like, I'm tired of this shit. It's like you guys don't give a fuck and I don't give a fuck anymore. And then I have to sit through stupid ass shit like this.
I'm gonna say that I have, since the beginning, all of this started with Panda and I's video, I have stated very clearly, very concisely, what my purpose in all of this is for. And because true accountability, true responsibility has still yet to have been taken, I am continuing doing what I am doing. And I will continue to do what I am doing until true accountability is taken, and not accountability that is rooted, in my view, in fabricating text messages in order to fool and manipulate an audience of millions.
Word, accountability. Me and Corey Kenshin's best moments is accountability. All right, bro. Like, at this point, it should be abundantly clear that this guy is a liar, and 2, lost in the fucking sauce. So I know that a subsection of Corey's community likes drama, but honestly, y'all really should take his advice and just not engage. Honestly, you guys shouldn't be engaging in this video either. And honestly, I don't care if you guys don't, because like, I don't want to do this. Like, this I'm literally putting together just so he can't say I'm a liar.
My wife is a financial dominatrix in the kink and BDSM community. And yes, while OnlyFans is one of the platforms that she utilizes for her work, it is not the only platform that she utilizes for work. And not only was my wife not out of commission during her pregnancy, but my wife was the only reason that you guys knew in the first place that she was pregnant.
All I'm saying is, hey,
Financial dominatrix is starting to make a lot of sense now, because ever since you introduced her to us, you turned into a bitch. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to say nothing because at the time you were my friend, but I was like, bro, why does this girl got you pussy whipped like this? I was like, where did Mav go? But here you are in the crib getting stepped on. Hey man, I'm not gonna shame you, because if that's your kick, that's your kick, but I'm just saying it makes a lot of sense now.
There was a point where I offered my editing services to Corey because I felt that I could provide a service to him that could potentially allow him to not have to take as many breaks off of the platform as he was. Corey obviously denied this because he takes pride in editing videos for himself. And not only did I extend my editing services to Corey, but I was actually a manager for Corey Kenshin from March to April of 2017.
I never asked to move in with Corey. And in fact, in November of 2019, Corey mentioned becoming his roommate.
Bruh, March to April in 2017, he had you as a manager for a month. And how you spliced his voicemails together to fit your narrative is crazy.
why am I walking around my den right now and something just fell in the corner? See? This is why we gotta be roommates, bro. I can't live by myself. Wait, what was that? Ah!
In the first one, he's clearly joking. And in the second one, he clearly didn't mean move in for extended stay.
And then in October of 2020, Corey mentioned moving in with him.
And you can just chill out for like however long you want.
Yeah, he says come chill out, which means like 1 or 2 weeks, maybe a month max. Not moving for 6 months to a year, you ignoramus.
You know how I am. Shoot, unless I gotta go somewhere, which I don't, like, shoot, you can move in, bro.
If he had intentions of making you a more permanent resident of his house, he wouldn't care whether you were in his house, whether he was absent or not. You would have keys. I swear to God, you're a bad liar and you be telling on yourself.
So I never talked about moving in with Corey. Corey was always the one that wanted me to move in with him.
And your text below that doesn't even match up with the narrative you're trying to push. Somebody is letting you stay in their house for an extended period multiple times. Someone is not allowing you to move inside of their house and out multiple times. Like, he invited you to kick it, not move in. Like, still, nasty work using his voicemails like that. Like, you have no boundaries, bro. And that, nobody can fix that, bro. I would say, like, you clearly have mental issues, but I'm going to be honest, bro. Without professional help, I don't know how you're going to fix that. And I'm not going to try. Like I said, we will never interact again after this. But that's it for me. Hopefully that was informative for you. Again, I hated doing this because I'm like, bro, I'm focused on other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to even say it because then motherfuckers going to be like, oh, you're trying to plug. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to hear that. But yeah, I'm back to focusing on what I'm doing. Stay out of everybody's videos, the samurai community. If you're watching this, yeah, because it's not worth it. Listen to Corey and just like focus on being positive and making positive changes in your life and doing positive shit. Because if you don't, you turn into MavAttack. All right, guys, I'll catch you when I catch you. All right, peace.